guys, and welcome to today's live stream. Today I'm going to be talking about the power of your mindset. We hear about it all the time about just how powerful our mind is, but what does that really mean? For me, it's something that I consider as like the engine of a car. Your brain and the way that it functions is the main optimal purpose of how you think, feel, believe. Your behaviors, your thoughts, your actions are all interrelated by your mindset. And how that connects is with the thoughts that you have. Because in order for your mindset to make a decision on how it's going to respond, it's got to be first had some input put into it. So your thoughts are what drives your mindset. So with that being said, the question is, how are you communicating with yourself? What are the kind of conversations that you're having with yourself that is determining your mindset, which is determining your physiology? Because everything you think, feel, and believe sends a nerve response to your physical body. That's how we have the connection between mind, body, and spirit, is through our nerves that transpond the energetic emphasis of that thought and amplifies it down through our body to our cells, and therefore our physical body responds to what we're thinking and feeling. With that, understanding that is that's why we can have certain pain in certain areas of our body. And if you understand how your body works, you can understand the relationship of where your thoughts are. So if you're a person that thinks from external, then you'll be able to go, oh, my physical body hurts. This is what I know this area means, so therefore this is where I need to alter my thinking. Or if you're a person that goes straight to the core of issues, then you can look at and be more mindful and consciously aware of your thoughts and go in and change that before it creates a physical disturbance within your body. So that's what makes it really cool, is that our body is always responding back to us what we're thinking and feeling. And it gives us indicators like little roads, like stop signs along the way for us to be consciously aware of what we're thinking, so that we can have those opportunities to go in and change the way that we think, so that we get a better physiological response with our body. So our mindset, as I was saying, is the most powerful resource that we have. So with that, it's about being aware of the kind of communication that you're having with yourself. Have you ever seen that saying that says, be careful what you think because yourself is hearing it? That's so true, because on the external world, people may not know just how you treat your own self. And I've been working with people for many, many years to recognize that how we communicate with others is not necessarily the same way that we communicate with ourselves. What I mean by that is we can be really kind, really empathetic, really sympathetic to other people, yet so harsh and critical and judgmental of our own self. And yet the most important relationship you'll ever have in this world is the relationship that you have with yourself, because the relationship that you have with yourself is going to be the whole characteristics of how you view this world, how you propel yourself, how you even work within this world. And so that being said, then if your outside external world is not reflecting and portraying how you would really like it for you to see it, then it's got to come back to the way that you feel, the way that you think. And so that's really, really important to be aware of, so that you know that you can go in at any time and make subtle changes to get a better response from the external world, because everything is about energy. We as humans, we're made up with cells, and those cells vibrate in energy. And if you think of it, how I like to think of it is, when you strum a guitar and the sound resonates for longer than what the actual action has been for. That's what happens with your physical body. It responds to a vibration of energy, and then naturally it resonates externally from you, therefore attracting what you're thinking. So your world your external world is going to be a massive reflection of how your internal world is processing this world. So if you're not getting the outcome or the results that you would actually really like to have, then be mindful of what's the communication that you're having with yourself. And I can totally, I've been there myself. If anyone listened to my video yesterday, they will hear of, you know, the worst time of my life and how dark it became, and knowing that that was all generated by what I was thinking, which then led me to believe is that if I was so powerful to make myself become so unwell, I was powerful enough to make myself become well, and not just well, but really happy back in life again. And so therefore, that's where my interest in psychology and spirituality and, you know, understanding human behavior and the fundamentals of how we function all became really, really something that was about a self-discovery, which then I managed to utilize within my clients and saw massive change. It's something I also hold myself accountable to all the time. The moment that I can recognize that something's not working, then I take one step back, remove myself from the emotional element of it, and look at what's not working, and then go in and just change that one thing. Because sometimes when you have a look at a whole bigger picture, it's not the whole bigger picture that needs to change sometimes. Sometimes some little tweaks here or there is all that it requires, and you're going to get a much better outcome, a much better result. And that comes with being aware of your thinking and of your thoughts. Because if you've thought a certain way, I'll just randomly put it out there that way, you know, you just may not think that you're good enough. Now, if you've thought that for a really long time, then it's going to be an unconscious thought process that happens automatically without you even being aware that you're doing it. So in order to create change around your mindset is to become more conscious of the conversations that you're having with yourself, being conscious of maybe the themes that are presenting themselves. So what I mean by that is, rather than look at the conversations and get emotionally attached to them, remove yourself externally and allow yourself to go, hey, what is the theme? Is it bringing up self-doubt? Is it showing lack of confidence? Is it that I don't like or love myself? What is the theme that's playing out? Therefore, then you can go to the core of the issue and make the changes around your thinking. And then it's about bringing consistency to it. So consistently going in. So let's go for an example where we think, well, we're not good enough. Then the thoughts, in order to replace a thought that's not so resourceful, then we need to replace it with something that's powerful. So if you think you're not good enough, you could make a conscious decision that when you do something that you praise yourself. And that can be an internal conversation that you have with yourself, like, hi, insert your name, I'm really proud of myself. I did a really good job. I can acknowledge and honor that I did something that made me feel great. And the more consistent that you become with that, the more we start to change the neurological response and the data that is put in your memory bank. And therefore, after a little while, the more consistent and persistent, because when you go to create new change, there will be resistance. I mean, your mind has only heard one thing, your body and the way that you communicate with yourself has only heard a certain kind of conversation that you've had with yourself before. So there will be a little bit of a resistance. And when that happens, rather than fight with it, be okay with it. Know that that's an indication that you're making some really cool growth changes for yourself. So resistance is a perfectly normal part of the process. But the less you fight with it and the more you just honor with it, then the resistance starts to decline. And you'll find that the more you hear yourself say good things, the more you'll start focusing on the really good things that you do. Because if you don't think that you are good enough, you'll start to recognize that in every aspect of your life. And that becomes really sad. And also becomes very limiting, because if we do that long enough, we actually start to believe our own crap. Nothing good comes from that. When in actual fact, there's just a little area of your life that might require a little change, not your whole world. So if we look at the thinking, we can go in and create change. That's going to have a massive impact on your whole world on a holistic standpoint, meaning that your mind, body, spirit, soul connection are all going to recognize this new bit of information and really feel empowered by that. It's going to connect you to your heart center, so the seat of how we feel we see the world through our heart. It's also going to have an impact on your digestive areas because we store our emotions in our stomach. So as you start hearing yourself say good things, if you're a person that does store all of their emotions in their stomach, then you'll start to notice that instead of it feeling bloated and a little bit heavy, that it'll start to feel softer. And you will notice that there will be massive transitions that will occur. You'll feel softer in yourself. You'll feel your energy levels increase. You'll feel lighter. There'll be so many benefits from putting positive information in as opposed to the heaviness and denseness of limiting beliefs. And you know what? I think it's a conversation that we don't really have with people. I mean, we are taught about the world, but we're not taught about ourselves. So be gentle with yourself. You know, don't be really harsh and recognize all of these things that you may deem as faults. Look at them as mental exercise, like be a PT for your mind. Encourage yourself to push yourself. Encourage yourself to recognize when you're doing something really good. Recognize that you're learning something new, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but be your own best support network. Be your best support person that's going to encourage you to, you know, follow through with making these changes, knowing how much of a massive impact it has. The other thing I've noticed over the years is which also has an effect on our mindset, which is how we dress. And you're probably thinking like, what? That's kind of crazy. Every person has different clothes for different mindsets. Especially for women, I think you can ask most women and they will have like what they call their fat jeans or, you know, their fat clothes. When they're not feeling so awesome, they'll go and put those clothes on. If they're going out for a night and they want to look hot, they have their hot clothes. They have their work clothes, they have their comfy clothes, and they have their, you know, bum around the house kind of clothes. So your clothes, if you're feeling in your mind that you're not feeling really awesome, then go and put a piece of clothing on that makes you feel great. The moment you put that on, there is this unconscious connection that when I wear this, I feel great. And automatically you will start to see that you start to hold yourself differently. You start to communicate with the external world and your internal world simply because of the clothes that you've put on. So clothes are a really great way and an easy way to make changes to align yourself back and help keep yourself on the process of saying good, healthy, positive things to yourself. And so therefore, you know, there are quite a few different ways that you can make changes. Affirmations, saying something really good. And what I've said to people over the years is that if you're a visual person, you need to have those visual reminders. So, you know, if there's a really cool positive affirmation that really resonates with you, put it on a little post-it note, shove it on your fridge. You know, if you've got a white fridge, use one of those whiteboard markers and write something really cool. Not only is it going to benefit you, but every person that goes to that fridge is going to benefit from seeing some words that are written that are really cool. Your bathroom mirrors, again, you can go in there and you can write them up with whiteboard markers. Go in there and write something really awesome. So every time when you wake up in the morning, and you usually have to go to the bathroom first thing, then we need to have a shower and we stand there, we get our shit together for the day, do our hair. If you put makeup on, brush your teeth. If you have something that's really empowering, that's looking at you straight in the face, it's going to help you start your day in a really positive manner. Listen to things that, if you're an auditory person, go in and find some podcasts that are about empowering yourself and listen to those on your way to work. You know, if you're a feel it kind of person, then do something that makes you feel good about yourself. Again, like I've mentioned in other videos, exercise is also really important, and nutrition and water is also really important, because if you do the exercise, you're going to know that, you know, some days you just don't feel like doing it, but you go do it. It makes you feel empowered. It makes you feel strong, because you've chosen to not succumb to the, you know, the low energy aspect of yourself, and you've pushed yourself through those and broken through those limitations that you may have had. Nutrition is a choice. We can choose to eat junk food and crap, or we can choose to spend 10 or 15 minutes and go make something that's really nourishing, that's going to feed your body, to enable you to have the energy to keep doing this. And your food is like the fuel for your body. Whatever food you put in is going to be how your body uses that fuel consumption. So if the nutrition is good, then your body's got good nourishment that it can continue to fuel positive mindset. If we don't eat foods that are so good for ourselves, the energy is short lasted, and usually there isn't a guilt association with eating foods that don't resonate with us. So that's another way. Water is important because not only does it feed the cells, it also cleans all of our organs. So it's like a little detoxifier that goes in and cleanses and filters and gets rid of the toxic buildup that builds within us. Because when we have thoughts that aren't so empowering, remember, as I said before, it leaves an energy amplification vibrating through our cells. Well, once you start putting empowering things, you want to remove that disempowering energy that's vibrating through your body from cell to cell, and we want it to leave the body, so that what fills our body is empowering amplifications of energy. I'll get it out in a second. So water is really important, and not just that, it's a really good resource to keep ourselves hydrated, keep ourselves focused, give us energy, to bring clarity of thinking and actions. So there's so many extra resources. Now, I know this can all seem overwhelming, like you've just got so many things to do, you know, because you've got your mindset, you know, if you want to look at doing the clothes kind of things, the food, nutrition, exercise, water, bam, there's like 6 things that you have to do. Sometimes you can reach overwhelmed straight away. Start with one thing. Just one. Just choose one of the 6 and start with that one thing and get that going. Then when that's got going and you're feeling a little bit more comfortable, where you don't have to concentrate and focus so much on it, then bring in the second part that you could make a change, and a third part, because overwhelm is only an element to detract us from doing what's important for ourselves. So start with tiny little increments of change, and as you get more comfortable, bring in more. So therefore, you're always bringing in a new layer, a new dimension, but not just that, you're also bringing in this continuation of being able to maintain having a really healthy relationship with yourself. So I want you to today, you know, think about what could be those current themes that are running around through your mind that you have become a little bit consciously aware of and you'd like to make change around. And then the second thing I want you to do is think of those 6 things, whether it's food, nutrition, water, affirmations, exercise, clothing. Think of any one of those 6 things and see which one of those you would like to make a little subtle change with, and then think about that change that you would like to do, and give yourself, you know, the time to just go through that process and start creating change today that aligns with your true, authentic self, not the self that is putting you down or telling you some form of, you know, really limiting story that's only holding you back. Allow yourself to feel this world and feel that connection that you can make with yourself so that you can start living the life that you deserve. So thanks everyone. Have a great day. Peace out.